Hello and welcome back to the Framed podcast. This is now episode 20. You are greeted by myself, Ben, you've got Charlie, and we got our special guest who would like to introduce himself now.
Hello, my name is Luis, or Luis Loves Films, and it's a pleasure to be back. Thanks for having me, boys.
Yeah, so last time we had, when was it? We had you for Elio, didn't we?
Episode 2.
Yeah.
Episode 2, 18 weeks ago. That's actually crazy. That's a long time.
Yeah.
We've got quite a lot to go through today, which I'll pass you on to Charlie for. We've got something big, exciting, which is Guillermo del Toros' Frankenstein, which I think is the key part of this episode. But we've got a lot of little fun things to do, which Charlie can explain to you now.
Yeah, we're going to kick off, as always, going through our news. Then we're going to jump into a fun game called Netflix or Notflix. And then we're going to go into some questions I believe Ben has prepared. And then we're going to spend the majority of this episode talking through Frankenstein.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's go straight into our news.
We'll go to news. Yeah, there's some things, whether they're exciting or not. I think they're exciting to some people. Let's say that. So I think, in no particular order, I think the first one that I wanted to talk about, which I know Charlie's ecstatic for, is we have our first Michael Jackson biopic trailer, or Michael as it's called.
Finally.
I think it looks great.
Yeah.
I think it looks good.
Agreed.
I'm really curious how they structure the film. Like, is it going to be like bits of each part of his life? Is it just going to be like a certain part of his life? I don't know.
I'm hoping we get as much of it as possible.
A lot of people have been, the one thing people are asking about is obviously his skin condition. That's the one thing people are like, how are they going to tackle that? Are they going to tackle that? Is it going to go from Jackson 5 upwards? How's that really going to work? And obviously, towards the end of his life, that's when controversy started happening, which is, of course, where the whole conspiracy theories on Jackson happens in the first place. So how are they going to dive into that? And obviously, we've seen biopics before where families have then not been too happy. But obviously, with Jafar Jackson being Michael, I would assume they've done him justice in a good way. So
that's why I say, is it like a set part of his life? Because if you're going all the way from the Jackson 5 all the way up, you have to like mention everything, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's why
the trailer shows different. Yeah, the trailer shows different songs, which proves that there is at least a small timeline.
Mm-hmm. I mean you see him.
I'm happy with that because he's sick. The music, genuinely, the music is. I don't care if you like Michael Jackson, you don't like Michael Jackson. If you say that Michael Jackson's music is not just god tier, like especially when you compare, like this is. I'm pretty sure this is filmed for IMAX as well, if I'm correct. So watching this with the I'm gassed.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the thing you were saying about families being angry, the reason it didn't come out last month is because they had to reshoot the entire third act because the family wasn't happy with the story and how they put it forward, so they reshot that entire third act. Obviously the trailer shows the Jackson 5 era, it shows Off the Wall, Bad, all of it. It shows it all the way through, so I think they're going for as much as they can fit in.
I'm fine with that. It's just I'm curious how they pull it off.
240 minutes long.
Is it?
Wow.
I think that's both a positive and a negative, to be honest with you. I think that's gonna put people off. But for people who care, they're gonna be like, yeah. Like Better Man for me was insane. Because it had a good runtime, but obviously the runtime and the fact it was just like, that's what put people off. At least this is Michael Jackson, so the name is going to carry it a little bit further.
I saw someone say they don't know if this film's going to make $1 billion. This film is going to make $1 billion.
Especially if
I think it'll be one of the strongest biopics we've had. You'll see it even if you don't want to see it.
You talk about household names. I don't think there's a more household name than Michael Jackson.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I'm excited. I think the trailer made it look strong. And I've not actually seen a negative about the trailer once yet.
I have one.
Oh, okay.
Who the hell gave Miles Teller that haircut?
Oh, yeah, fair. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I saw this thing as like, he's unrecognizable. I was like, he's not.
Yeah.
But
But
Yeah, I
also,
was going
like,
to say, he was in it for a split second, and I went, oh,
Yeah.
that's Miles Teller.
Yeah, that
Like,
proves
that's
what?
the other thing as well. But like, you've got a great director. It's the director that did Training Day. You've got Miles Teller. His nephew's playing him. Coleman Domingo's in this.
He's smashing that at the moment as well. Coleman Domingo
So
is...
his current run is The Running Man, Wicked, and Michael. It's not a
kind
bad
of crazy.
3 things to be in.
Nice.
Yeah.
But no,
Nice.
I'm as someone that's followed Michael pretty much all my life, even after he passed, unfortunately. I've done so much stuff purely inspired by him. I've like traveled the world to meet like the people that choreographed Smooth Criminal and Thriller and all this stuff. I've seen the musical countless times, so I cannot wait for this.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I think everyone's excited for it. It's going to be, when it comes around and it's finally coming out, I think it's going to be like very busy in every aspect. I think everyone's going to be talking about it. Everyone's going to be seeing it. Everyone's going to be replaying it. It might even like, it's the sort of film that would make things hit the charts again.
Oh yeah.
I think it'll be good.
Before we move on, please, Universal, please, just remember us when there's invites.
Supporting it from the beginning. No, yeah, fair. No, we will fight for that. That's good. And this is another part of the news that I know that Charlie's not happy with. So, funnily enough, we've gone from something positive from Charlie to probably something negative from Charlie. There are talks to bring back Gareth Edwards, Jonathan Bailey, and Scarlett Johansson for whatever they're going to call it, Jurassic World Rebirth 2.
Jurassic World cash grab. Let it die. Let it die. Why?
I love the Jurassic Park universe, and I'm happy for them to continue the films, but they need to think of something else.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the video that I did yesterday, but like, they've done normal dinos, you've done mutated dinos. Leave that, find something new, because when they first started the mutated dinos, that was sick. Like, the Indominus Rex, as cheesy as it was cool.
Right,
But then
yeah.
you have like the Indoraptor and the D-Rex, and it's like, well, they're just kind of all the same thing. And also the
D-Rex... They are
D-Rex,
milking it though. And
the
with the
biggest
whole
motion
like
ever.
Netflix animated series as well, it's just like, why are we at that point where we have to... I mean, I get it's dinosaurs. Dinosaurs sell at the end of the day. It made a decent amount of money, but you know, you've got someone like Gareth Edwards, who is, in my opinion, one of the best visual effects directors to have ever done it, in my opinion. He's absolutely fantastic. And from his work on The Creator, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
It was like, especially as someone who's in VFX and animation, it was appreciated on a whole new level because he pushed boundaries. You know, he filmed it on tiny cameras. He didn't film it on massive IMAX cameras or anything like that. It was incredible. And then for him to do Jurassic, which was... Look, it wasn't offensive, in my opinion. I don't think it was, like, stinky, but it was just like, you know, and the whole thing being caused by a chocolate bar wrapper is like...
It was so
We've talked about this so many times. It was.
Yeah.
But this is bringing them back, which means that it's going to have some response, as in it's a follow-on from what it ended on.
I mean, I saw that when it first came out, to be fair. I did see people saying, oh, it's going to get another one, and I was like, oh, yeah. Like, I'm not surprised at all. But...
Ben, do you remember that meme that you showed me? That was the AI-generated thing of Scarlett Johansson becoming a dinosaur?
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if
she's half Velociraptor.
I genuinely fear that that's where they're taking the DNA storyline, that they're going to inject it into humans and the humans start becoming dinos.
But there's a part of me that like would hope that Gareth Edwards would recognise that and go, no.
Yeah.
Like that ain't happening.
I'd hope he'd have better integrity than that.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with me...
Little pitch here. Dinosaurs in space. Done.
Yeah,
we're not making it Fast and Furious. Jurassic Park, Amazon Drift.
Yeah. I think we just need to go back to the parks.
Yeah.
Because there's stories to tell in the parks. It doesn't always need to be global release opening day, things go bad. Like, you can just do other stories within that. And that's what made it, is the parks. Making it just like dinosaurs in real life becomes very boring very quickly.
It's like, as well, all these films have had these like resurgences. You've got like, just to name a few, you've had like Jurassic Park, Top Gun, Star Wars, all of them. The first ones, when you look at them, Jurassic World, The Force Awakens, they were huge. They were really well received, and now they're just milking and milking and milking. I don't know why we have these such quick turnarounds. If people were happy to wait 20, 30 years to get something else out of this franchise, why do they need another one within 2 years just because the studio wants to make money?
Pretty much.
I mean,
kills franchises.
To be fair, if they want to do something, they could follow in suit of Star Wars. I mean, we've got Gareth Edwards, who is quite literally the director of Rogue One, right? If we want to take him and give him a same thing, bro, give us a backstory about why the original park exists. None of this stuff that they pitch at the beginning of the film with the DNA strand. Give us a why does what's his name? Richard Attenborough's character. Colonel Sanders. Why does he want to build the park in the first place? Or almost treat it like there's documentaries out there of Walt Disney and how he built the Disney parks, why he did it, and how he did it. Do the same thing for Jurassic, even if it is just a love story to the original fans. Set it back in the day. Give us that nostalgic vibe because they are proven to pretty much do really, really well. Let us know exactly how people were hired, how the guy who messes it up with the glasses, I haven't seen Jurassic Park, the original one in Donkeys, but, how he was hired and what his motivations were, what the original plans for the park were there scrapped rides, were there things that weren't opened, expand that in a positive way. How did they get the dinosaurs and grow them, give us a Planet Zoo tycoon style film, because I think that would be much more interesting.
That'd be really cool. I think that'd be cool.
Peddling. So, Gareth, I'm here if you need me, my friend.
It'd be interesting because you'd have to, if you went with that concept, you'd have to dive into things that went wrong. Dinosaurs didn't grow properly. People that got eaten and things that went do you know what I mean? All that. But I think that'd be really interesting.
Stuff that gets covered up behind the scenes. Yeah. HR's not happy.
Yeah, but instead we're getting the Snickers film too, which is genuinely atrocious. Okay, we'll move on. So what are we in now? We're in November. So December is obviously our last month of the year, and there's some big rumours of what trailers are finally being brought out to us next month. So obviously the big one for next month, as in film-wise, is Avatar: Fire and Ash. But there are some trailers that are being rumoured to release within December or potentially within Avatar, if that makes sense. So there are 3 that people are talking about. You've got Avengers Doomsday, you've got Supergirl, and you've got Spider-Man Brand New Day. All potentially will release next month.
Off that, 2026 is going to be probably the greatest year of cinema ever. We have some insane movies coming out next year.
They're all big, I think is what it is. They're all massive.
Yeah, and if they deliver, we're going to be in for a treat.
We have a blockbuster.
I'm not a DC man, really, but I enjoyed Superman, so I'm excited to see where they go with Supergirl.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, Spider-Man's my favourite super. I think it's going to be absolutely spectacular. It's Spider-Man at the end of the day. As much as people say there's some hit and miss films, I don't think there's a bad Spider-Man film ever. I think all of them are really good, whether that's animated, even the TV shows, Disney XD TV shows smashed it. And then obviously Doomsday is Doomsday. I think Doomsday is going to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest film of all time. And I've got some huge, huge theories that I need to finish writing into an actual video.
I think that's, even ignoring the films of next year, to have them 3 trailers released in a month is kind of crazy. If all 3 of them are at the beginning of Avatar, that will pull people in just to watch Avatar for that sake.
And I don't watch trailers. I've actually said, because they spoil so much now, I don't do it. But apparently Doomsday is not going to be showing a lot, because they're going to be keeping it. And bearing in mind, Doomsday is a mixture of Spider-Man No Way Home mixed with Deadpool Wolverine in terms of our cameo fest. If they do the same treatment they did with those other films, I'm 100% going to go watch that trailer, because it's going to hype it up in the correct fashion. I hope Spider-Man does a similar thing. I reckon we're just going to end the trailer with Rage Hulk or something like that. That's going to be it. And then obviously Supergirl's, I'm not as invested in the DCU yet compared to how I am with it.
mean, this is a discussion I was having before we even started this episode, but I was saying to Ben, it's like Doomsday, there's a huge excitement there for me, I think for everyone. I mean, that day at the cinema is going to be insane. We've got that releasing the same day as Dune 3, like that is insane. Then you've got, what's the other one? Spider-Man, which I'm insanely excited for. I hope we don't get too much of like Hulk in the trailer or Punisher in the trailer. I'd rather just see all that in the film, but I'm sure we will, just because that's how you get the general audience there.
I do think it'll be more of Spider-Man and Punisher, and then we'll get Rage Hulk at the end. I literally just do think it's going to be even if it's although it was a kind of stinky film, the new Captain America, I think it's going to be a very similar vibe.
I can see that.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm just very excited because it's Destin Daniel Cretton, who they were going to have do an Avengers movie. He's already done Shang-Chi and Wonder Man, so they must have confidence in his vision for this film to put him on it.
Fight scenes are going to be insane.
Yeah, Supergirl. I was saying to Ben, I don't know if I care for it as much. While it's not directed by James Gunn, I feel like 2 projects in, I've already got a bit bored of James Gunn's DCU. It's all felt very monotone thus far, so it's interesting to see if that's going to shake things up. And to steal a quote from someone's video that I saw yesterday, whose name I cannot remember, so I am sorry, but the premise of drunk teen space adventure doesn't make me go, wow, I want to watch that.
Yeah.
So it's tough for me with Supergirl.
I think we really enjoyed James Gunn in the MCU because it was so random. Like, you would get like one, and then a couple of years later you'd get another. But in between them, you would have serious films and sad films and action films. So by the time you got back round to another James Gunn film, it felt refreshed and like something new. But now, if every film is going to feel the same, that novelty wears off very quick.
Yeah, it's like even when Suicide Squad came out, that was so opposite to everything else DC was doing at that time. That's why it did so well. But now if you've got Superman, Peacemaker, Man of Tomorrow, Supergirl, all with this very similar tone, I think the only thing that you're going to see stand out from that at the moment is Lanterns and Clayface, which isn't really a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't think Clayface is going to be a huge success for them, but
it won't. It will be like hardcore watchers that will watch it. The others will ignore it pretty much.
It's essentially an indie horror from DC.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I'm watching it because I like the Lego Batman games, and Clayface was just kind of cool to play with. That was about it. Like, I'm not, I'm not a DC man really at all. I could name you very few facts about DC in general, whereas Marvel and every other franchise I can go nuts with.
I'll definitely watch it, but it's like, to the general audience, if you see DC and then Clayface, you're like, who's Clayface?
Yeah.
If you go
right.
Batman, whoa.
Everyone knows who that is.
Everyone's there.
Okay, so following on in terms of news, and this one is more for Luis. Zootropolis, as we're now calling it in the UK, will be the biggest animated movie ever, with over 50,000 characters being animated on screen at one singular time.
Yeah. Disney.
I don't really know what there is to talk about this, other than that's just quite an achievement, and it's just exciting to see.
It's pretty incredible to see how far Disney have come. The other day, I was blessed to watch Chicken Little. It was great. And that was the first ever 3D animated Disney film, right? Disney, Pixar, 2 very different companies. They consistently get mixed up. Disney had their first fully 3D film in 2005 with Chicken Little, which I think is just insane to say that was their first 3D film.
Yeah, good.
And now they're doing 50,000 animated characters in a single frame, which is just insane. And then obviously Pixar was way back in 95, so 10 years prior to that, having the experience. Disney obviously then had the mixed animation style, things like Brother Bear, Home on the Range, things like that combined the 2 styles. So the fact that we can see it grow and grow and grow and grow. We've had some bangers over the recent years. We've had some stinkers over the recent years. I think it's almost weird. It's kind of weird to see both Disney and also DreamWorks almost split down the middle in terms of how their studio's operating at the moment. Yeah. DreamWorks has the fun, different style, like your Puss in Boots animation, your Bad Guys style. Then they've got the random stuff that predominantly releases to Netflix, which is that weird different vibe. It's two very different parts. Disney's got the same sort of thing. We've got our let's focus on our princess world and try and keep that alive, building things like Strange World, which I know is not a princess film, but it's obviously very reminiscent of one of those films. We then had obviously Wish, both kind of missed a little bit in my opinion. And then obviously on the flippant side of that, we've got things like Zootopia 2, we've got Frozen 3 coming out. You know, there's those big franchise hitters which realistically are going to be good no matter what. And I'm so excited for Zootopia 2. I have known about this film for a very long time. I was really lucky to meet with a fantastic guy called Jacob Frey, who works for the Disney company, back in 2022. And it was just before I went to D23 to watch Zootopia 2 get announced, which in itself is a huge honour, and I'm excited to go back next year to see what's coming from the company in the future. But I said to him, I said, what are you working on? He was like, I can't tell you. And he sat there in a Zootopia crew shirt, and obviously because I thought that was just from the first film, I hadn't thought a single thing of it. And then it was revealed, and it's just, I've seen more and more in it. I've stayed away from the trailers. I've not watched a single bit of trailer footage because I just don't want anything spoiled. Because I love Zootopia. I watched it 5 times in the cinema first time round. So hopefully this one is going to blow me out of the water just as much, because it's such an expansive world. There are so many stories to tell. You know, the TV show was great when they released that. It was short, sweet, and they didn't milk it. And I think it just, you know, if they handle it correctly, which I think they are doing, you know, this could be a very successful sequel. And it just, hopefully it gets the right reception with the crowds. It's just a shame it's not got the Frozen name or anything.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's weird. It's almost like a niche film that's just gained traction behind it, and now that niche has turned not so niche anymore, and it's now become a household name. And I think they left it the right amount of time between films so that you weren't milking it, but you're okay with a second.
Agreed.
Who knows if there'll be a third? I wouldn't be surprised if this now has the audience reception that we probably expect it to have. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a third.
Yeah.
I was quite late to Zootopia. I watched it for the first time last year.
Okay.
And I find it fascinating. I need to give it a rewatch probably before the second one. So I'm curious to see how they go ahead with this second one, because maybe I wasn't on the bandwagon because I wasn't in the original rush of everyone getting excited. I just watched it and
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Too late.
I mean, it's quite dark, so I'll be interested to see if they go down that route as well, because realistically, the first film is about racial segregation and drug dealing.
Yeah.
It's a kid's film. So
Yeah,
this
true.
one is obviously, I know it's about an underground reptile society that they didn't originally explore in Zootopia, which was actually a major question from fans was, yeah, you've got animals, but where are your different species in terms of your reptiles and your insects and stuff like that? So that's an interesting concept that they're exploring that further. And obviously with their expansion in the Disney parks now as well, like you say, I think it kind of flew under the radar for some people, and then I think it's now coming back to it. So hopefully it's going to do well.
Do you think the 50,000 animated are all just reptiles, all snakes in the background?
This is the problem. I don't, as someone who's in and trained in animation, it's impressive, especially from a technical standpoint, because those computers must have hated every single person at that studio trying to render that out. But whether that is a slight exaggeration on what they've done, because obviously fitting that many people in there, 50,000 characters are not going to be individually animated. They would have been rigged and then given a pre-existing walk cycle, a pre-existing movement cycle. So whether it is a snake, making a cycle like that is a lot easier than making a 4-legged giraffe walk fluidly, you know?
Yeah.
So it could be the guys in Little Rodentia, the little hamsters, because you can fit hundreds of them on screen. It could be an opening musical number, you know. Try Everything was a big success in the first film. Shakira could be having another banger. It could pan out to Zootopia, and there'd be lots of people walking around. I don't know how and when they're going to fit 50,000 people on screen. Whether it sets up a third film and there's actually a shot of the insects village or something like that. That could be another plausible reason. I have no idea. But either way, it's going to be an impressive feat nonetheless, because technology's come so far, and the guys at Disney are, you know, some of the best for the reason. So
yeah, I think it's interesting. It's a interesting fact that they've given us before the film comes out, because it's now just another thing that makes you go, huh? It gives
Yeah.
another audience boost to go and watch it.
I think that's the reason they did it as well.
Probably.
Animation's an interesting form at the moment. I think certain companies are doing really well, and as I say, Disney have unfortunately, in terms of their animated features, have kind of lost some audience members over the last couple of years, especially the older ones. So I think they are trying to redeem themselves, and with a banger like this, where realistically, first one was nearly 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's kind of aimed at our generation as well.
Mm-hmm. Added some fun cast to this one as well.
Ke Kwan back again. Let's go.
The Rock.
And The Rock. Yeah. Everyone's in it, man. And the one thing I really like about Zootopia as a Disney nerd is they consistently play around with fun alternate movie titles. There's a whole scene, obviously, in the first film where Duke Weaselton, whatever you want to call him, is selling bootleg DVDs of Disney films. One, obviously, not being released. They've done the exact same again with this one, which I think is even funnier, the fact that they can even think of more. And on top of that, they do, real people in animal form. There's loads of celebrities that are in it, but my highlight, just to sort of shed a little bit of light on it, but bearing in mind we're talking about Zootopia, literally 2 or 3 days ago, the Animal Kingdom, one of the Disney parks in Florida, the show that's underneath the Tree of Life has just had a revamp from Bug's Life, which was a classic, into Zootopia. It's had a bit of an interesting sort of audience reception so far, but in the queue, they basically shout out the guy who created the Animal Kingdom and the Tree of Life. His name is Joe Rohde. He's a fantastic Imagineer, retired now, but they gave him a little rodent form because obviously rodent. And I think those sort of details, the fact that they can really expand those worlds like that, is a perfect example of why this film is so fantastic.
Yeah, I think it'll be really good. I think there's going to be a lot of little niche, hidden details in the film. You're going to be like, oh look, it's thingy. Oh look, it's that. It's that person. And that's going to be the whole film, I think.
Hopefully.
Maybe that's 50,000 characters we've already met. Or actors you already know. That'd be mental.
Yeah.
Okay, right, we'll take us out of that. I've got a few questions for both of you. It's not entirely a game, but it's an interesting concept to have a discussion with. So we're in November now. We're coming to the end of the year. We've nearly rounded up all of our films of this year. And I've put together kind of just 5 film themes, if you want to call it that. So I've got action, horror, romance, sci-fi, and just animated. I've put animation. And what do we think are kind of the leading films of this year that sit in each of them categories?
What the categories?
Because we're coming to the end of the year, we're rounding it off. What was the best? We'll start at the beginning. What was the best action film of this year?
Can I go on Letterboxd?
Sure, feel free.
Because I don't.
Well, I was going to say my Letterboxd is on my device. In terms of what we think the leading film was going to be, or do you mean
I don't know. What do we as audience reception? For example, horror. There have been lots of horror films, but I think Sinners would take top for that.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That just because of audience reaction.
Action film.
There's not been a huge amount of action this year. I think Superman's the obvious one.
I think.
Am I out of line for Thunderbolts?
Am I wrong to say The Running Man?
Okay, yeah.
You talk action, and you naturally think of your big action stars, and you think explosions and runs and.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I'd back that. The Running Man was fantastic, and I think hopefully it's going to get good audience reception when it releases because it's been great. To be honest, I think Paramount in general. Just a little shout out to Paramount and Substance for inviting us to these sort of premieres. But Paramount have been smashing it this year.
Yeah.
For my personal opinion, anyway. You've got Roofman, which was brilliant. You've got Naked Gun, which was just an absolute feast for laughter. Regretting You, I had a good time. I know other people didn't as much. But
if I speak, I will be banned.
Actually, what you're reminding me, are we all wrong? Is it Ballerina?
I was just about to say that has the last half an hour of Ballerina is the best action of the year.
Ballerina choreography was crazy. So that is action, that's explosion.
That's my vote.
Ballerina's up there. I think it's a toss-up between Ballerina, Superman, I think will probably get an audience vote if this was to open up. Again, because it's more generic. Thunderbolts, I thought was just absolutely fantastic, and then Fantastic Four was brilliant as well. So we've had some good contenders this year, but I think Ballerina's a really good shout, and I think it's kind of thrown under the
pick
radar.
for that.
I'll be happy to put it with that. I think, I'm happy with that. Okay, so this is not my field, but the next one is horror. So I don't even know if we need to discuss that. I know that there has been a lot. I haven't watched a full ton. I would then just naturally put Sinners in there.
I think Sinners,
It'd
takes
be
the
Sinners
cake.
or Weapons, I think, are the two that would probably come up in that conversation.
Okay.
I could also throw out Together as well. I think Together really pushed some boundaries, but I do think Sinners is landslide. So
was Terrifier this year? Was Terrifier 3 this year? Was it end last year?
Terrifier was last year.
No,
Okay,
Terrifier just caused controversy by being the classic secret screening at Cineworld.
I saw that. That's funny. Okay, romance.
Romance.
Like a rom.
Well, it depends what are we classing, because I personally classify We Live in Time as a 25 release because that's when it released in the UK and it had a very, very limited release elsewhere. I would say that because I think it's absolutely fantastic.
Can I do a film festival film that hasn't come out yet?
Go on.
Is This Thing On?
Yeah, I've not seen it.
I haven't seen it either. I would, if we count We Live in Time, I'll count We Live in Time.
It's not regretting you.
Bro, blasphemy, man.
Does no one like that film?
I didn't mind it. I think, but it wasn't great.
Is it crazy to say there's not been a lot in genres this year? Like, there's been so much variety that there's not been a genre that dominated, other than I'd say horror.
Because, but even then, even with the horror genre, like obviously there has been some obvious horror films, but even with Sinners, I also don't think of Sinners as a horror film. I mean, it is.
No,
but it's also not. But then what is it? It's like a thriller drama. Kind of. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
But I know what you mean, Charlie. The only other thing that's really kind of come into my mind for romance could either be Bridget Jones, if people liked that, or Big Bold Beautiful Journey. They're the only two like bigger ones that I can actually think of that came out.
Do you know what doesn't technically count as a romance movie in its generic form, but I thoroughly enjoyed, was The Roses.
Ah, that was good fun, actually. I really enjoyed that.
It's very much a romantic comedy because it's very much heavily lent on the comedy, and it's probably a more romantic tragedy. But
they were great as well.
I actually very much enjoyed The Rose. That's probably be my pick.
Okay.
I'm happy to lock that in. I think that's my highest rated romance.
Okay, fine. I'm happy with that. All right, so that takes us into sci-fi.
See, both of my picks I'd probably get hated for.
Go on.
I would, on a very, well, I've got three. I'll give you the two that actually qualify and the one that's a bit ropey.
Yeah.
My pick for the year would be Mickey 17, but I know not a lot of people like that.
I thought that. I did think that.
I did forget about that.
Fantastic Four probably has the best space scene of the year with the black hole chase with Silver Surfer.
Agreed. I would agree with that. Are we counting Tron as sci-fi?
Begonia has about 5 minutes of sci-fi, and I adore that film, but I know not a lot of people like that, so...
I feel...
The War of the Worlds.
Don't even.
I'm looking at my letterbox for this year.
For me, it's Mickey 17, if we're going like...
I back in Mickey 17 as well, and I will say on that as well, I really do hope that Mickey 17 gets some sort of Oscar recognition, because what they did with Body Double and the way they did Robert Pattinson is fantastic. Again, from a VFX point of view, it gets overlooked very, very easily, but there is some incredible VFX done on this movie, and I really hope it gets some sort of recognition, even if it's just a mention, because, you know, I think obviously because it was back February, March time that it released, I think it's probably going to fly under the radar, and I really hope that that's not the case, because
if they didn't delay it, it would have come out last November and probably been a huge contender for this year's Oscars.
Yeah, it was brilliant. We've had a lot of body doubles this year. Weirdly, we've had a lot of people.
Yeah.
With two people.
Pattinson, Michael B. Jordan,
Sinners as
Robert De
well,
Niro.
Yeah,
I would have put Tron as my sci-fi, but because it is just sci-fi as a like the idea of looking at it. But I think, although Mickey 17 I don't think was amazing, I think it was good as a new concept. I really liked the concept of it, so I'm happy to lock that in for that one. I need to give it a rewatch.
One last thing on Mickey 17. I bought the book this week, and I'm about halfway through it.
Okay.
The amount of new stuff that he worked into it and changed massively elevates the story. So,
so the film is better than the book, you think? So far?
Because in the book, there's only 7 Mickeys.
Right.
So it only takes him like 6 times to work out that there needs to be a change, which seems a bit early on. Whereas I think the option to change it to 17 as a concept is like, it's a bit more feasible for him to work through the what's going on and realise it's not right.
Okay.
What was the last category? Or
our last category is animation.
I don't have an animated very high up on my list.
There haven't been a lot this year. I would, you know what? Like, you could chuck Chainsaw Man or Demon Slayer in there.
I haven't seen either of those.
I don't think you can ignore that.
My predicament on that is that I'm not an anime man. I don't really enjoy anime, so I can't comment on those. I have seen incredible things. Whether you would consider Nizar 2 as a 25 release, obviously that's had a weird release schedule.
Yes, I forgot about
the greatest and biggest animated movie of all time. Again, I've not seen it. However,
so good.
I think again it flew under the radar. But Bad Guys 2 was just brilliant. You know, it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it was great.
And it needs to be seen, because Bad Guys is a fantastic franchise. Just don't watch anything that goes onto Netflix, because
I'm happy to lock in Nizar 2. I completely forgot about that, because it is truly amazing.
What about K-pop Demon Hunters?
Yeah, that's true.
K-pop. It's a good film, but it's so. I teach children film and TV, and every single second is we're going up. I'm shush. Stop singing. K-pop Demon Hunters.
I've gone to the bottom of my list on Letterboxd, and I have found all the animation. It has not been a strong year.
No, I don't think there's not been much.
Smurfs, Dogman, Plankton the movie.
Don't forget about what's that weird one? Is it Fixed or something like that? The one about the dog, the inappropriate dogs on Netflix. That was weird.
Strays.
Inappropriate dogs.
No. There's a Netflix animated movie that came out. Craig's watched it. I know that it came out, and it was the Charlie. If you go onto my Letterboxd, it's right down at the bottom. The poster is a dog and his bumhole, and it's all about. It's sexual dogs, and Strays was fun. I did a bit of work on Strays, but it was so bad. Whereas this was just so bad. Another what's it the opposite of the Oscars? What's the really really bad one called again?
Oh yeah, I've seen that advertised.
The not good Oscars, those ones. I would also throw out a film called Sneaks. It was Sausage Party but with shoes. That was a weird film.
Oh, and you had the Twits that came out on Netflix.
That annoyed me. Really annoyed me, that did. But
it's not good.
So what are we looking in for animation? I'm happy to pick Nizar 2 just because of the audience reception and the achievement it created.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. From everything I've heard, I think I can lock it in.
You need to. It's so good. It's so good. Okay, fine. So that's all of them done. I'll just recap. So we have just gone through 5 film categories of this year, locking in what we believe are audience reactions or what we feel are the favourites for each thing. So for action, we've put in, I've already forgotten, Ballerina, the John Wick story. Horror, we kind of locked in. What did we say? Did we say Sinners? Are we going with that? Or are we going with something like Together? Okay, we'll go with Sinners. Romance, I've already forgotten. The Roses, cool. Sci-fi, we went with Mickey 17 just because it was a new interesting theory. And then animation, we went back to Nizar 2, which was just a spectacle in its achievements, which I think is a decent. I'm okay with that. That's a lot of
No, that's a good set of 5
new things. If I'm correct in saying you've got a game for us, Charlie, don't you?
Yeah, so a little quick one. Let's
do it. I need a game. I'm in the mood.
Netflix or Notflix.
Okay.
I'm going to name a title. You have to tell me whether that is a Netflix movie or not a Netflix movie. So we'll start nice and easy. I hope you get this one. Rebel Ridge.
Didn't watch it. Don't know. I'm going to say no. It is not a Netflix.
It is a Netflix original. It's a good movie.
Oh,
Luis is...
I'm sorry. I didn't watch it.
Good.
Okay,
and there's a sequel, apparently. So
yes, I'm very excited for that. Number 2 is Air.
no, that's not a Netflix original.
No.
There you go. Amazon Prime. Extraction.
Yes, that's
the Chris Hemsworth one, right?
Chris Hemsworth, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Barbarian.
No.
No.
No, I think
think
it is. I think it debuted on Netflix.
If I'm wrong, I'm
Is it
wrong.
still streamable on Netflix? Yeah, I'm gonna go yeah.
Luis, as the Disney guy, you should know that was a Disney Plus Hulu release.
I love you, Disney. I'm sorry. I literally watched it last month as well. Sorry, Disney.
The Grey Man.
Yes. Awful film.
The Killer.
As in the who was it? Is it Shyamalan? No, who is it?
Fincher.
The one with
Fincher.
Yeah. Yes.
It is a Netflix movie.
Cool.
Right, we have got Prey.
No.
No.
Disney Plus.
That was Disney, yeah.
Disney, yep. Palm Springs.
I feel like that's Amazon. I don't know why.
I don't know.
It isn't Netflix, but it's also not Prime. It is Hulu.
Okay.
Ah.
Interesting.
Heart of Stone.
Which one's Heart of Stone?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
It's an animated film.
Oh.
Even more shocking than the movie.
I'm going to say yes because the last couple have been no's.
No, I don't recognise that.
It is a Netflix movie.
Ooh.
I have no idea what that is. I need to look it up.
No.
Coda.
Coda?
Koda.
Coda. Won a lot of Oscars in 21.
Did it?
What genre is it?
It's a very beautiful film.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say it's Netflix.
No. It is an Apple TV film.
Cool.
Got 2 more for you. Oh, I've lost my list. I have 1 more for you. Frankenstein.
Yeah. I think it's an insult that it's Netflix, is what I would say.
Absolutely.
I do agree. And in select theatres is a load of rubbish as well.
Well, that leads us... Well done, Charlie, because I know exactly what you've done there. That leads us beautifully into discussing Netflix's Guillermo del Toro's adaptation of Frankenstein. We have all seen Frankenstein. I think we've all seen it in our own different ways. Like, I watched it at the gala. Charlie, you watched it in a cinema screen, right?
Yeah, I watched it at 8 a.m.
Okay, perfect. And
after waking up at 4:45 to get my train to London. So
nice.
That is why I rewatched it yesterday.
And Luis, did you watch it at home?
I watched it at home.
So we've done all aspects of how you're meant to watch this film, apparently. We like to rate the film out of 10. So have a think. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to count us down. I'll say mine first. We'll go to Charlie, we'll go to Luis. It's just the order I can see it. And we'll discuss why we gave it a number. Whoever has the highest number can discuss why they think that first. So these are our reactions and review, and our. Oh my god, I can speak today. This is our out of 10 reaction for Guillermo del Toro's Netflix Frankenstein. I will go first at 3, 2, 1, 7. Charlie?
8.5.
Luis?
7.
7. Okay. So, I mean, Charlie, your highest here. Why did you think it was?
For me, watching it initially at 8 a.m.,
Mm-hmm.
I massively appreciated all of the visuals. I thought Jacob Elordi as the creature was probably one of the biggest surprise performances for me of the entire year. I've made a video on this that I haven't put out yet, but Oscar Isaac is one of those performers that doesn't come around much, but when he does, you know you're going to get something great. It's always nice to see those same performances. Your Pedro Pascals, your Dwayne Johnsons pop up and everything. You know you'll get something decent, but where you see so little of people like Oscar Isaac and even Mia Goth, when you get them, you know you're going to get a very solid performance, and you get that from both of them in this movie. Del Toro's vision for this film is very clear all the way throughout. And it's always nice when you can watch a movie knowing that the director knew exactly what they wanted to achieve with every single frame.
Yeah.
There is no pixel on the screen that he hasn't thought about. The movie is visually incredible, and it's probably one of the best Gothic movies that I've ever seen. I will say my main criticism is that I just felt the first act was too long for me.
Okay.
I know that's very opposing to someone here right now who's smirking at the camera. Yeah, I was waiting for that title card to switch to part 2, because obviously you see part 1, you know there's a part 2 coming, and I was sort of like, are we ever going to get there? Because the time was ticking through, and I didn't know if it was ever going to stop. But I think all the cast did a phenomenal job. The costuming, makeup is some of the best of the year. Visually, incredible. I think it's a very good adaptation of the story. Please just give me more Gothic films or creature films from Del Toro, because I think he smashed it.
I will listen, and I will not judge. Luis, carry
on. Yeah, I echo what a lot of Charlie said there. I think the production design on this film is easily a standout. Obviously, like I say, the performances, you say Oscar Isaac and Jacob Elordi and Mia Goth, I completely agree, 100%. All three of them deliver a fantastic performance yet again. I think all of them are great actors, and like you say, they do come around and deliver bangers when they do come in. I think production design, though, for me, is really, really what makes this film stand out. The sets are phenomenal. The lighting is incredible. The way it's shot is brilliant. And as someone who's not really into the Gothic genre as much, I enjoy the Gothic film every now and then. I think I didn't really resonate with Nosferatu as much, but I appreciated it as a film. It's the same sort of instance with this. It's not my type of movie, which made it drag a lot more. It doesn't need to be 2.5 hours long. Whether it's the first half, the second half, the film was too long. I think that's the my take from this. And you know, my biggest pet peeve, it was the CG. You know, I think I have a slightly different eye for this to the regular person. So maybe I'm, pulling at straws that didn't need to be pulled at. But when you make a film that is as visually stunning, is as hyped up and as well executed as this, as what Guillermo makes, and the world he builds, to then have CG, which you can noticeably look at and go, that's a plate, that's a green screen, that is just a tracked object. That's not even a 3D object. You have just tracked it down with a camera pan. It took me right out, especially really noticeable in the end of Act 1, the castle destruction scene. The whole thing tipping over, falling into the hole, and it was so obviously a plate. The lighting was incorrect, and it just immediately took me out of what I was immersed in, which I think really hurts, because I think if, whether that's because it's a Netflix release, whether that's because, I don't know. Like, I don't think there's an excuse for that when you're dealing with this sort of movie, which is a shame. And, Charlie, like you say, Guillermo has such a fantastic eye for everything. I think that's why he was entrusted with a stop motion film in terms of Pinocchio, because everything does have to be thought out thoroughly. It's a shame that this has then kind of slipped through the cracks, which now I've pointed out, maybe some people will see upon a rewatch. But yeah, it's okay in my opinion. I think I gave it a 4 on Letterboxd, which, you know, for me translates to roughly a 7.
Yeah.
Your numbers may not work, but for me that that does.
I'd agree.
And I think that is just predominantly down to a production design point of view and how visually stunning the storytelling is.
Mm-hmm. I think, truthfully, between the two of you, you have kind of wrapped up what I was going to say. I think I also gave it a 4-star on Letterboxd, which I would, put it at about a 7. I think it would be an insult to give it any less because there are so many positives, but the negatives can't be ignored. I think it's, again, like you said with Nosferatu, it's a genre that is so tight and there's so little in that genre that usually when you get one in it, it's like revolutionary. And this is, again, that. I think with the people that have been cast for it, the people that are making it, you knew it was going to be incredible. I think, truthfully, the Netflix is an insult to it. I think it was great to see it. It was great to see it on the big screen, and it upsets me that a 3-hour film that looks that good because of its set design and its costumes and everything to be watched on someone's iPad on a train upsets me. You can't grasp the scale of what it is. I saw it at film festival, so I watched it at the gala, and I think obviously it's for people that haven't seen it yet. It's split into different parts. You have like Victor Frankenstein's view, and then you have the monster's view of the story. Charlie didn't enjoy and thought that part 1 was too long. I think that was the strongest half of the film. I think when you are understanding why he does it, you see all avenues from like the courtroom scene to the actual lab and the house and the costumes that are displayed through all of that. I think are like genuinely. I was sitting in that screen thinking this could be a top 4 film. I think that first half was absolutely incredible. I've since watching it, I've seen documentaries with Guillermo del Toro where he discusses, and this might be new to you guys, that each segment of the film is color coded depending on what's happening. So the first segment of the film where it's Victor's life from child to adult is red. So his mum wears red. His tie at the funeral is red. Even the creation of life, his gloves are red to display the blood and the life, and then life is green, and everything switches to green. I thought that was really cool. I think that's really good. I only found out yesterday that Victor's mum was also played by Mia Goth. Which, I know, which caught me off guard. I saw a video about it, and it kind of makes sense of the resemblance to the mother, which is very strange. But whatever.
Why is that's a really weird little choice?
I think it probably goes down to that like Sigmund Freud thing of like the connection with your mother and things like that, and I don't know, something in that.
Fun.
Yeah, interesting. Then you go into part 2, and that's where I began to have my problems. I think the story was it went through with the book a lot, but there are a lot of changes that I've seen a lot of people be upset by. I think there hasn't actually been a Frankenstein book adaptation that is correct yet. Everyone always throws something new in, and that has its positives and it has its negatives. But it was a negative for me. I think the second half, which was considerably shorter, and I think that's why it was the negative for me, is because the first half was so long and in so much detail that you would expect the second half to match that, and it wasn't. I think it became very poetic, it became very romance orientated, and that was such a big switch up, and it was done in such a rushed time that I feel it was weakened. I think, you've just seen this whole like time frame of Victor learning all these things and developing the monster, and then in the second half the monster learns English in like a 3-minute on-screen scene. That annoyed me because it feels rushed, it feels weird. I think I'm like really, I'd say I'm like 70-30 on the film. I think 70 in positives because I think this will be nominated for an Oscar for its either costume design or something like that.
It'll be up there with Wicked as a contender.
Because it was crazy, and I can't, ignore them positives, but the negatives for me, where it became slower and more romance and poetic, I've not got a problem with that. I just think it was a rushed part of the film, which then you at the end of the film when you go back to the beginning, I didn't feel like that was tied up quick enough. It felt very random. And like I said, I've watched it twice now. I rewatched it on Netflix, so I've got both aspects of this story, and I don't feel any. I feel like my review stands, which is really interesting. And for me, it was slightly disappointing, just because I thought this was going to be a top 4 film, and it dropped to still a high number, but something less.
Yeah. I am liking seeing these sort of films, though. You know, as you say, I hope we see a little bit more of the Gothic. Although they're not my type of films, as per se, I really, really do appreciate them from a cinematic point of view. You know, Nosferatu was fantastic to watch in the cinema. I just didn't resonate with it as much, but I appreciate it as a filmmaker. Frankenstein did the same. Like you say, I do think it's criminal. It was on Netflix, but
Yeah,
Loki, give me an Invisible Man film. You know, give me a Mummy. Give me more of this. Give me the Swamp Guy. Yeah. You know, especially with Dark Universe being such a prominent part of Universal and Epic at the moment. Obviously, with Epic Universe having opened earlier this year / late last year, to see that grow and being lucky enough to have gone to Epic Universe this year, I really, really, really enjoyed the Dark Universe, and I hope we see more of that getting explored through the Universal company and beyond. And I do think people like Del Toro are perfect people to tell those stories. So fair play to him.
he's already talked
Big
about
thing
doing some other
as
things.
well.
He's interested in doing
Sorry.
Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
And I saw, unless I misread it, I think he had interest in doing a Casper film.
Is in The Ghost.
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Yeah.
What's such a strange
know.
film for him to try and tackle?
I'm going to throw a question out. Feel free to do it. Feel free to cut me off instantly. I'm just fishing for content right now. Anyone willing to give me a Jacob Elordi Frankenstein impression live on the episode?
Sure. Yeah, go for it. You can reenact it with me. Would you like to? I will reenact what I think was the worst scene from the entire film, and that's why it resonates with me.
Let me. So, for those that don't know, there was I can't remember what screening we were at. It was something. My last day of the film festival, and me and Ben were discussing our thoughts on Frankenstein, and there's a final scene where I guess we spoke spoilers anyway, but spoilers. Victor asks the creature to say his name like the first time. Is that the line?
Are you gonna make me do both parts of this?
Well, no,
You're not
I'll
going to
just
give me.
say the name like the first time I heard it. And honestly, the way Ben said this to me, I have never laughed so hard in my life because it was
I'll do both parts. I'll do the full scene if you want.
Go for it. Let's get it. Oscar attempt
Let's
from
paint
Ben.
the image here. Let's paint the image. Oscar Isaac as Victor Frankenstein is laying on what is nearly his deathbed inside a ship frozen in the North Pole. By this point, you have developed the relationship and you realise that they are probably attuned in their lives more than they should be. The monster has barged through the doors and is now expressing his love and everything all around that. And you realise that we're full circle back and now there's an emotional moment torn between them. Oscar Isaac laying down looks up at him and he says, "Say my name like you did the first time." And Jacob Elordi's the monster just says, "Victor," and that was it. And it was absolutely one of the worst line deliveries I've ever seen in cinema. End of the film. So unneeded. Why did he scream it? Don't know. Atrocious.
The fact that Jacob Elordi has now been a part of two very cringy.
We were sat in like the BFI cafe, and Ben's just like, "Victor."
Why did he do that? Why did he sing it? I don't understand.
Oh god, a very weird scene. It's like the last scene.
That's enough for it to be a 7 out of 10. Just that.
Other than that, he was pretty good going throughout. I think he definitely embodied the right characteristics, and I think he was, the fact that Jacob Elordi's also just is that tall It makes me feel kind of uncomfortable.
That's okay. You've brought up a really good point here. Another positive I would say before I get into it is I genuinely think the first 10 minutes of that film might be one of the best opening 10 minutes of a film ever. I think it was awesome. The snow scene, and you see him trudge. You see like what you end up finding out is the explosion. Him walking across and just like slamming bodies. Just that was really cool. I really liked that. I wasn't a fan that they looked at Jacob Elordi and went, "You're tall, you'll do." They didn't like muscle him up. They didn't. They kept him like pretty boy. Do you know what I mean? It was very strange. They just went, "The height will be
A lot
enough."
of it was just base level makeup, wasn't it, as well? Like, I noticed
And
that the
it's
further it went on, I was like, this is just Jacob Elordi's nearly naked body. This is really weird. Why have they not
yeah.
given him...
It
Bearing
was
in
meant to
mind,
be Andrew
the
Garfield.
typical Frankenstein
Was
is meant to
it?
be Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield was meant to be Frankenstein monster, and something happened, and he had to like leave like 9 weeks before production.
Okay, I mean, fair play
Andrew
to
Garfield
Jacob
was
for
the
picking that
creature.
up, and I don't. To be fair, I think Jacob might actually be a better choice for that. I'm not really sure. As much as I love Andrew Garfield, I don't know. I don't know if that would have worked as well, but I don't know. I find it weird. I think because I'm a fan of horror, right? But I also really enjoy the classic horror. So it's weird that he's not massive and built.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird that he's tiny and
Yeah, I did have a
skinny and
problem with
slender.
that.
It's a strange one. Have I frozen? What's going on?
You're okay. You'll catch up. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a really strong film, but I think it has its weaknesses.
Mm-hmm. There's one more
I'm
thing I
interested
want
to
to touch on.
see it have a proper reception properly.
I want to just mention the sheer brutality of Frankenstein. Like,
There were scenes in it I was not
think
expecting.
Ben, you mentioned to me when he just skins that. Was it a goat?
It's a wolf. The wolf
It's a wolf,
jumps
yeah.
on him in the
Bro
old
rips
man's
his head
house, and
off.
he
What
pulls
am
it
I
off
about
his.
talking about goats for?
It was
Dunno.
insane.
But the scene when he's holding that thing and he's like, "If I survive this, I'll come for you."
Yeah, that's hard. That was an aura moment. That was sick.
Like, Frankenstein does just aura farm for most of this. Well, sorry, the
Yeah.
creature.
Yeah, no, there are scenes like that. There's a bit where he's like just like tearing a man's nose off for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did
No,
really like that. There was little
brutal.
things that slightly annoyed me though. I think they were inconsistent. I think that there are times when like 4 or 5 men are like tackling him, and you can see him struggling a little bit. But then in the next scene, he can push an entire ship with like 70 people on it. So the
Yeah.
strength was a little bit off there, here, there, everywhere. But
I did think that as well. I was like, does he get stronger the more he lives? Because this guy, bearing in mind also, he spent the sort of front half of this film shackled to a big concrete block.
Yeah, very true.
If he can push a ship, this guy can pull himself out of this concrete block, which I know obviously he ends up doing in terms of like the escape. But this guy could have done that very easily a lot earlier.
I agree.
And saved himself a bit of trauma. So
Yeah.
But
no, I think so.
I wouldn't mind seeing Elordi become this, like, not creature actor, but very, like, unique career, almost like a
Go very
sort of Kevin
Skarsgård
Durant.
and become famous for his prosthetics.
Yeah.
I'd be okay
I mean,
with
he's
that.
got some pretty funky
Skarsgård
career
or-
performances already,
Yeah.
though. Like Elvis, he was brilliant as Elvis. He played a very different role, obviously in Priscilla. Saltburn is Saltburn.
Great film.
And he's
I hate
he's
Saltburn.
good in that. Really?
Good film.
Yeah, I give it
It's
half
weird,
a star.
but that's
on
why
that
it's good.
Half a star is crazy, Charlie.
Hot. That's not okay.
Can't stand Saltburn.
Insane.
It's my third lowest film of 2023.
Whoa.
Wow.
Bro, it's my third highest, I think.
Wait,
Yeah,
let me
it's
check
really
that
good.
out. Let me get a fact check on that.
Dude, I mean, to be fair, I did watch it for the first time incredibly drunk, which probably did make it a lot more watchable.
I watched it on release day in cinema when no one knew what any of them scenes were going to happen.
Yeah, I watched it on Prime.
Yeah,
never
I
mind,
watched it. I watched
it's
it
my
on release
10th
day in the
worst of the
cinema.
year.
A bottle
But
of
if
wine
you see
down.
what's
So
below it, you'll realise why. So,
Wow.
just to clarify, below Saltburn, I have Expendables 4, Die Hard, Peter Pan and Wendy,
Valid.
Winnie the Pooh,
Yeah.
Blood and Honey,
quite
and
exciting,
Ruby
actually.
Gilman, Teenage Kraken.
Jesus.
Ruby Gilligan as a half star as well. That wasn't that bad. It wasn't great, but
Okay.
oh,
Well,
Ended
that
off with
might
a
round
hot
us
take.
off quite well. I think ending on Charlie's abysmal take of Saltburn actually outshadows the
guys.
entire Frankenstein, I think.
Oh, sorry, guys. I gave it 1 star. Come on, allow me.
I don't know what I gave it. I think I gave it like 3.5, maybe 4,
I
maybe.
can find out. Ben, you gave it. Jesus, like everyone's in this. You gave. Oh wow. Okay, there's a discussion here quickly before we end.
Okay.
Ben,
Oh.
you gave it 3.5. Luis gave it 5 stars.
Interesting.
read my review though, Charlie.
Okay.
It's I don't even know what I said, but
Do you want me to read it out?
Go on, then.
It says, "Wow, just wow. This film is absolutely incredible. Every single cast member brought their all to this film. Elodie and Keegan are for sure up for the Oscar nomination." That didn't happen.
Nope.
Barry better win because this was stellar. Unfortunately, also didn't happen. This film was just brilliant. Honestly, I can't process it. A beautifully tailored story that was intertwined, and I'm going to guess that was meant to be very and not vert, with a very uneasy feeling that later paid off. From start to finish, this is what cinema is about. Every little feeling you get, no matter what that may be, this had absolutely everything. It was exciting, full of sex, both predictable and not. Huge plot twists and fully developed characters that drive a beautiful story. This film is a must-watch.
But I will also point out that that's a review before I actually started reviewing films like a proper person. So to grow on that, I think, to be fair, the thing that I really resonated with the most, if you take out all the weirdness, if you take out all the stuff that people think like, oh no, how do you like this film because of this? That's the point. The feeling that these sort of films can give people in the cinema is why I think it was so successful. It built an incredibly tense story for however long it was, alongside a huge depth of comedy. Barry Keoghan hadn't really been seen much until this point. Same with Jacob Elordi. It had great casting all throughout, with big, huge performances from Richard E. Grant and Rosamund Pike and things like that. You had some fantastic performances. And to be fair, I kind of liked the vibe of like chilling with your mates in a house for the summer. I think that was a big like. I want to do that. I want to swim in a lake and have a fun
Drink the
time.
bath water and stuff. Yeah.
Can you just promise me,
little
Luis,
swings and
that if
roundabouts,
you,
Um,
Luis, when
no,
you
Things
get
to
there
do
are
with the
cute,
lads.
there are some very weird elements. Of course, there are, but I think that's what made it successful for me, because it made people uncomfortable, and I think that's a sign of a successful film, because that was what it was aimed to do. Plus, pretty decent twist. So, for me, a fun one, but it's not one that I watch consistently, predominantly because it is weird.
Just know that when Luis Lost Films absolutely blows up, I will make sure that the quote "this film is full of sex" becomes trending.
Yeah. Beautiful. What a way to end it. What a way to finish that. We'll round up the episode there then. Thank you very much for everyone for joining us this week, and thank you for Luis to being our guest. As always, this episode will come out on Wednesday at 6, like it does every single week. If you are listening on the Spotify app, we would be grateful to hear any reviews or ratings to go alongside it. I wanted to thank you all again for joining us, and we shall see you next week.
Thanks for having us.
Goodbye. Thank you very much.